just wanted to come on here and give you all a quick update. I know that in my last video I was talking about how my waist hasn't really been growing all that much this past like 3 or 4 weeks or so, and that I wasn't really concerned about it because I was putting on adequate amounts of weight. Yesterday, which was Thursday the 14th of May, I went into my OB appointment, which was just a regular appointment that I had already had scheduled. And, you know, they had done the normal stuff. They took my height and my weight and all that stuff. But when they went to measure my fundal height, I was actually measuring at 25.5 centimeters, which was equivalent of 25.5 weeks. They rounded it up to 26 just to make me feel a little bit better. But it's still 3.5 weeks short of where I should be measuring at this point in time. So we went in. They wanted to do an ultrasound just to make sure that the baby was growing adequately in my uterus, because there's things that could happen. So before we actually made it to the ultrasound room, the anesthesiologist that works with high-risk patients came in and discussed with us our options for pain medication. And we learned basically a couple weeks ago, I was telling you guys that there may be a possibility that we can have an epidural. Our ultimate plan is a vaginal delivery with absolutely no medications, or that's my plan anyways. But we know things can happen, and so we just wanted to kind of be prepared and find out now if I was a candidate for an epidural in the future if I did need a C-section. And basically she said that when they do an epidural, they like to go in at either L1 or L2. If they go in any lower than that, which would be L3, L4, or L5, you don't get adequate numbing, in your abdomen, that you would feel more the numbing in your legs and kind of splotchy areas throughout your belly area. And so they would, in that case, they would go higher. The only thing is that they can't go higher because my spinal cord doesn't stop until L1. Well, pretty much nobody's does, but the spinal cord is still there until you hit L1. So because of the spina bifida, it would make an epidural very risky. And now, even if you were to take the epidural out of the spina bifida out of the equation, the blood disorder that I have makes it very difficult also, very dangerous for me to receive any type of regional kind of nerve blocks. So at this point, I am not a candidate at all for an epidural. They would have to put me under general anesthetic or anesthesia in the event that we need a C-section. The good news with that is as sucky as it would be, my husband would be allowed in the room after they have already sedated me and cut me open, so that he would be present and able to watch and hopefully take videos or pictures of them actually pulling Luke out. He just can't be in there when they're putting me under and putting the tubes in and all of that stuff. He would have to wait outside. But at least he can be there for the delivery if that happens. So after the anesthesiologist came and talked to us, we went in for our ultrasound. And there was some good news and there was some bad news. The good news is that the baby is weighing, or measuring right where he should be. He's actually measuring 31 weeks for his head, 30 weeks for his abdomen, and 29 weeks in his legs. So basically I have a big-headed baby in there. And he weighs already 3.5 pounds. So if he continues to grow at the proper rate, we will probably be having an 8 to 8.5 pound baby at the end of this pregnancy. So a decent sized baby, but not too large. But the bad news is that he is laying transverse still. Typically, they would like to see babies kind of start moving head down if they're not already head down by 29 weeks. The other thing is that he is not in the proper position really to flip himself very well. It's going to be very difficult for him to turn. So I'm going to try and do it this way. Okay, so here's my stomach. Here's the top of my stomach here, the bottom of my stomach here. The baby's head is up here. His spine curves down and around, and his legs are situated over on this side. So in order for him to flip, he's going to have to push off, push his whole body all the way around, and then come back down at it. This wouldn't necessarily be a problem, except for the fact of the way that he's laying. One of his legs is in front, and the other one is in back of his body. So he can't really leverage himself enough to be able to push himself into a back up, essentially. And the other issue is that his arms are also in a funny position, and he's just cram-packed tightly transversely. So he's going to have a lot of work to do if he wants to flip over. So if he does flip over, we should still be able to have a vaginal delivery. If he cannot flip over, we would be going in for a C-section at 38 weeks, so, or 37 weeks. So, you know, there is a bit of good news is that he's fine. He's just crammed in there in a really weird position, and he can't really flip that well. So, keep your fingers crossed and pray that he does end up turning on his own. But if not, it's not the end of the world. I do have on Tuesday, which would be 30 weeks, an ultrasound for the clinical trial that we're part of, and they should be doing 3D. So we'll know next week if my attempts this week to get him to turn down are successful or not. If not, you know, it's not a big deal. He'll just have to come out a different way. So I did want to just update you guys because I know a lot of my subscribers are also following me on my blog or on Facebook. So I just want to tell you guys everything's okay and kind of just show you what was going on in there. So I will talk to you guys later.